Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another podcast with NIPOC. My name is Hossein Tutunchi. I'm a member of Board of Directors at NIPOC. And we have today as guest Manavi. He's certified business consultant with Transworld and also a member of Board of Directors at NIPOC. We're glad to coordinate this podcast for you, and we hope that you genuinely find this information in this podcast useful and to your benefit. One thing I wanted to add is that whatever view or information we share here is just our own opinion, and it's not by any means or a stretch a tax or financial advice. With that, please help me welcoming Matt to this podcast, and I know that you will find the information really useful. Thank you. Matt?
Hi, Hossein. Thank you so much for hosting this podcast. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here, and it's my honor and pleasure to be of some assistance to you here. As Hossein said, I am not a registered SEC licensee. Therefore, any discussion here is just an opinion. We're not going to make you any financial or investment advice. It is just some knowledge that we gain based on our work experience and based on additional research that we've done. With that, I would like to discuss with you specifically to business owners and in general also of what steps to take now to be able to survive in this COVID-19 pandemic financial catastrophe that we're in. And also post-COVID-19 era, what steps do you need to take now such that you will thrive and you will come out as a much stronger and much robust business owner comes whenever, July, August, whenever we're done with this current scenario.
And, I hope that we can share some information for also people that may have lost their job and, give a promising path forward that how they can recover from such situations. Given the fact that we don't know the true nature of this pandemic and how long it may last. So what do you think? Especially right now, you have the PowerPoint for unemployment rate. Yes. So what do we have here, Matt?
Yeah, it's a great question, Hossein, that you ask. My strong message is it's a twofold answer. One fold is, look at this picture. It goes back to 1948. Some of us have been down this path so many times. The gray bars that you see are periods of recession. And as you can see that almost coincident with every gray vertical bar, the unemployment rate went up. A lot of people lost their job, a lot of people lost their homes, and it's a very sad situation. But it's a reality of our life, so we just have to learn how to deal with it, how to manage through the period. As you can see, in 2001, you see the gray bar, and the unemployment went up to about 6-7%, I guess it shows. That was both two events happened. One was the tech bubble burst, and the other one was the sad 9/11 situation that happened. Then in 2008, we had the global financial recession that happened. And then the unemployment went to 10%. And I kind of combined two charts together. As you see, there's a discontinuity because the chart that I collected did not go all the way to 2020. Then the subsequent is, the other part is a chart that goes to 2020. You see the unemployment went to actually 3.6, 3.7. And the expectation is that tomorrow when the Fed announced the unemployment, it should be around 20%. Now, by all means, of course, 20% is twice the worst that we've seen in the past. But look at the duration of these recessions. They were long, like in a matter of 2 years, 1 or 2 years, the unemployment went from 4 to 10%. Here, in a matter of 2 months, the unemployment went from 3.7% to 20%.
Right.
At face value, people may say, wow, this is very scary. What's going on? One of the things that I'd like to do very much is to understand the driver. What's causing it? What's behind it? And does it make sense? And how quickly could we recover? Well, if you were to think about the reasons for the high unemployment, well, we had the lockdown, right? The in-shelter stay that the government said, all right, close all the businesses, close all the shopping center, close all the retail stores. Anything that is not necessary must be shut down. Well, when the retail stores are shut down, when the pizza places, when the restaurants, a lot of people are going to lose their job because the owner may not be able to afford keeping them employed.
Right.
Therefore, I mean, I wish I had a crystal ball, but one of the things that I can anticipate is as soon as this in-shelter stay home is taken away, the lockdown is removed, well, guess what? The shopping centers will want to open as soon as possible. All the restaurants want to open as soon as possible. Well, they need support because they have to serve all the people who've been pretty much tired of staying at home for the last 2 months, right?
Yeah,
All of us are
going to come out.
Exactly. We want to get out there. We want to go to restaurants. We want to go to parks. We want to go to Disneyland. Imagine all these places that have shut down and have forced people to take furlough, not get paid. So my guess, my expectation is once the lockdown is removed, the 20% unemployment will drop as fast as it got to that point because businesses want to thrive, want to open and generate revenue.
Right. So that's a great point. But how realistic is that, Matt? So given the fact that like in past 10 weeks, we have lost 33 million people lost their job. And everybody, at least like a majority of this crowd is now dependent on Social Security. So given the limited resources of food and supply chain and all those things that we know, how realistic is that when this ban is lifted, those businesses can go back to the normal operation?
Right. Great question. So, we can think of 3 different categories of businesses at this point in time. The first category are the necessary businesses. Well, what are they? They are the liquor stores, they are the groceries, they are the fast food stores that have drive-through, right? And they are some of the essential businesses that say work with the government, certain facilities in the hospitals and whatnot. Many of them have stayed open and they're actually thriving. As a matter of fact, one of my clients who works in defense and aerospace, their revenue is actually increasing because there's more work coming from the government. Now, the second category of businesses are the ones who had enough working capital to be able to weather such harsh climates. They're saved for the rainy day, so to speak. And also, they have received the PPP, which the government provided, and they're using it in their benefit. So they have maintained some level of working. Like you see quite a few of the restaurants, they have curbside delivery, quite a lot of businesses, they are working not to the capacity that they used to, but they're surviving just above the water just to make sure they can last this period. Now, those businesses will also come back very rapidly. The elasticity is high. They've been around, and once the doors are open and all of us want to be out there, want to socialize, want to go to different restaurants, they're going to get packed. And they need employees to serve people like us. So it's going to come back.
I see.
The third group, unfortunately, is a group that did not have enough working capital. They were, living sort of paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a good percentage of them will close down, will go out of business. And that's the sad part of recession. It happens. What that means, though, for the businesses that survive, well, they'll have a larger market to go after. So now their revenue will increase.
Yeah, that creates its own market, sort of say. So what about those companies? Yeah, feel free to, move the
go ahead. Ask your question.
PowerPoint forward. But how about those companies that do not have the cash flow to kind of go through this period, that uncertain areas and time that nobody knows when it's going to end, certain businesses such as restaurants or deliveries, they're
Right.
being crushed. So
Yes.
what do you suggest to business owners at this stage if they have actually businesses similar to those that you explained?
Great question. Let me point another picture. My main goal is twofold today. I want to bring a sense of hope for people that, unlike what the media says or certain individuals say constantly, the sky is falling. It doesn't seem to be that way. Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but here, look at this. I pulled this chart from Yahoo Finance. All right, this is S&P 500, which is a pretty good representative of the stock market, right? 500 companies that comprise this S&P 500, and I purposely went back to '94. You can see here from 2001 to 2003, we had the tech bubble burst and we had the 9/11 event that happened. So yeah, the market crashed. Basically, it dropped by about 50%, and guess what? It came back up. It showed resiliency. Then in 2008, we had a massive global financial downfall. That was truly a recession. That was a financial issue where many companies were not liquid anymore. They just didn't have money. And we're not talking about any small size company. These were large size corporations.
Right.
And
Matt, excuse me, Matt, can you explain the S&P 500 for those that may not know
sure.
what it actually stands for?
Sure.
Thank
It's Standard and Poor's. It's the top 500 companies whose stock is part of this S&P 500 group of stocks. So basically, there are 500 companies that are top performing, that have to meet certain requirements to be admitted into S&P 500, Standards and Poor 500. And as their stock price fluctuates, average of those stock prices, share prices on a daily basis creates one ticker point here, one value on this chart. So this chart goes back to 1940 something,
yeah.
right? So basically, at least for me, but my opinion is, I always look at the S&P 500 to get a sense of what's going on, or NASDAQ, which is mostly technology oriented. But again, I don't want to get into too much investment proposals because it's not my job to do that. The other thing that I wanted to mention is, look at here. Even with the 2008 global financial meltdown, S&P dropped by 50%, and then it recovered all the way.
Yeah, the bull run. Yeah.
Exactly, right? Now, look at the speed of this drop due to COVID-19. In a matter of 2 months, right, it dropped by about 30%. I think it's about 1,000 points from over 3,000, right? Give or take, 30% plus or minus, right? So these, like 2008 to about mid-2009, year and a half for the S&P to drop by 50%. Here, like 2 years. Here, 2 months. All I'm saying is, we were here before and we recovered. We're going to recover again. This is not end of the world. We just got to work together. We have to keep a positive attitude and take measurable steps. Like, now going back to your question, and I will address your question about the buyers as well. So cash is king. Sorry, cash is king. A company is a financial entity. A business is a financial entity. It survives because it has a positive cash flow. If it goes into negative cash flow, if it goes into debt, it's going to file bankruptcy and will go out of business. So as the business owner, what must you do? Well, you're the one who's going to have to make the difficult decisions. Meaning, am I going to lay off people to make sure I stay cash flow positive? Or am I going to work with my team and I'm throwing numbers out there, all of us get a 15, 20% salary cut, such that all of us can survive and weather this time period. This is your decision as the business owner, with the most important objective of maintaining your positive cash flow. Think about it. If you try to save everybody and your business goes under, then everybody loses, including you and your family. So, but if you can survive and maintain your business, when it thrives, then you're going to be able to hire the people who let go, you're going to hire them back. It becomes a win-win situation. So as the business owner, those are some of the decisions that you must make: cutting costs. And hopefully you're one of the business owners who kept a working capital, save for the rainy day, and have applied for the PPP and have collected it. So use it wisely. Make sure you manage your cash flow. Make sure you manage your expenses to survive this period.
Yeah, you mentioned something very interesting. So staying cash positive does not always mean that you should earn more. Basically, you may cut your costs at some point and stay cash positive. So identifying those sources that your business is bleeding is a crucial step in here.
Absolutely. Many business owners, and I work with quite a few business owners, and it's a pretty standard, most of us do it. We charge a lot of perks. Hey, I've got the business, I'm making money, so I want to do this and that and the other thing.
Right.
Well, now is the time. Maybe those perks aren't necessary. What can you cut that will not impact your revenue? That's the question you need to ask. Anything that impacts your revenue, do not cut, because you want to maintain that revenue.
Exactly. If nothing adds value to your business at this hard time, it's a luxury at this point.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Going back to, let me answer your questions about the buyers. And it's a such situation. Yes, many individuals have lost their job. There are obviously, we've got the EDD, the unemployment, which I think it's through end of July. I'm speaking from memory, that the government, California government pays, or the federal government pays an additional $600 per week. So definitely take advantage of it. It's a great amount of money. And even as individuals, gotta manage your cash flow, manage your costs. Make sure you cut all the unnecessary costs, such that you can survive a longer period in case you cannot find a job. It's also true that there may be many individuals that have entrepreneurial spirit, right? Hey, I've been part of corporate, I'm done with the corporate, I want to start my own business. It is an absolutely great time to start your business, because many business owners, we have got many baby boomers who are retiring. They've passed ages 65, 70, and now at this point in time, they say, I've had it. I'm out. It's a great opportunity to buy an existing business. Many of these baby boomers establish very strong businesses for 20, 30, 40 years. So taking ownership of some of those businesses that already has a cash flow becomes a great opportunity for the entrepreneurs who want to take ownership of their own destiny, so to speak.
Yeah, totally. All right. So how about for those people that may not have the cash to buy a business at this point, but they're entrepreneurs, they wanted to start a business. And prior to this pandemic, it was hard enough to kind of risk it. But do you advise people to take the risk now during this pandemic, given the uncertain situation we are in, to initiate a business in any sense?
Yes, it is a great time. For the last 2 weeks, the number of buyers who have been inquiring for business listings to purchase has increased drastically. It is unbelievable. There are certain people who think that the glass is half empty, and there are quite a few people that see the glass half full. It's a fantastic opportunity. SBA has announced that I think they said they're going to forgive principal and interest for the first 6 months if businesses are purchased through September of this year. So the government is really helping to support small businesses because most of the economy runs on small businesses. And you can either start your own business, which takes a whole lot more capital, but instead of spending that amount of money for about a year to 2 years to develop your idea, you could just buy a business, whether it's franchise or non-franchise, and hit that cash flow positive state the day after you buy the business, which I highly recommend that way.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
What I want to say, one more thing about to the business owners, kind of go with the flow, right? It's now time to put your creative hat on and understand maybe what you were doing doesn't apply anymore. How can you change your business model to fit the present climate? For example, we knew that retail would not last for too long, right? The writing was on the wall. What this COVID-19 did is, well, if I can buy everything online, even order my food online, then why do I need to go to a store? So bring that e-commerce
into
your business. Exactly.
Great point.
Right. So think about how our lives have changed because of COVID-19. How are we doing things differently? And how does that apply to your business? How must you change your business strategy to plan for when we come out of this COVID-19 fiasco?
Yeah, this, in my opinion, to your point, actually, this pandemic revealed a lot of opportunities, especially in businesses like e-commerce, and people realized that they actually can leverage the technology and offer their products, services remotely, and they really don't need to go to work, like to a physical location on a daily basis and provide that services. So, with all the sad news around this pandemic, there are also opportunities for people that are looking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The glass is always half full.
Yes.
And we all have a choice to look at it from both perspectives. Okay. So which that leads us to the next item, right? Be strategic, right? So now we go back to how can you thrive? If you're one of the lucky business owners or the business owners who planned ahead of time, that now have working capital available, and you've got cash flow positive, it's a great time to think of expanding to adjacent markets. It could be buying your competition, could be getting to complementary markets. Expand your business. It's a great time. There are so many businesses that want to sell, want to get out. Would you be able to buy their book of business? Absolutely. That's the other part, right? Now, that's the thriving part. That once you acquire and grow inorganically and the gates are open, just imagine how much faster your revenue will grow because you have expanded your reach.
Yeah, totally. Like we explained before that, technology does not have any border. So if you can utilize such and be strategic in your selection, you can reach even more audience. And people are getting used to getting some services online, through commerce rather than walking into the store and pick up items. Right. Like, for example, purchasing groceries and, items that they used to go to shop and pick up. Now it can be delivered.
Yes.
And so that if you can provide such a service yourself, then you can leverage the technology and offer those services.
That is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Just put that, creative mind, your creative hat, your thinking hat on, and see, for the sake of being cliche, think outside the box. What can you be doing that you have not been doing? Acquiring business, expanding to other areas. What are your resources? What are your skill sets? Where are you located strategically?
Yeah.
Can you go to Inland Empire? Can you go to LA if you're in Orange County? Can you go to adjacent cities?
Mhm.
Landlords, so a lot of buildings are empty, right? Landlords
Yeah.
need that revenue. Okay, so if you wanted to change your location, it's a great time. Go negotiate a good deal.
Exactly. That opens a lot of doors for you. And
Yes.
people after this pandemic, they adapt new habits, and the expectations are different because they've seen that the changes, like in, I don't know, 10 weeks, that could be this drastic. So they are more prone and adaptive in negotiating terms, because given this uncertain situation we're in, nobody knows where the whole thing ends and how fast the recovery is. So yeah, definitely.
Yes. Then let's say down the road, you've actually expanded your business, you're doing really well. Then the question is, okay, what should I do to prepare for my exit some point in the future, whenever that's going to be? So three things that are really important, and I've seen it from so many buyers. Number one, please clean up your financials. Have clean set of books. It's, if the financials are messy, buyers are going to get scared and walk away. Report that income. For every dollar that you show in your tax return, you can earn $2 to $3 when you sell your business. It's that huge.
Mm.
Turn your business into a turnkey solution. Have documents and processes prepared and created, because a buyer cannot be in your head. As the business owner, you need to make sure that a buyer can walk in and be able to hit the ground running from day one. Those are top 3 points that I've seen from quite a few buyers.
Yeah, totally. Like, I've seen it in business firsthand that when you come across a potential partner, someone that you want to do business with,
Yes.
and you notice that they have clean processes in place, that thought about whatever their process was, and they've developed some workflows, it gives you the assurance that I can adapt this. I can sometimes
Yes.
buy the whole thing, and there is a thought behind it. And that gives a good assurance for those people that wanted to offer their businesses for sale.
Yes,
Um, and
absolutely.
and it was interesting for me that you mentioned, like, a lot of people think about like reducing their taxes, or showing lower taxes as much as possible. But when it comes to selling your business, that could be actually a disadvantage.
Absolutely. So, and it's a generally practiced thing that business owners do. I don't want to pay my taxes. Well,
Right.
think of it this way: even if a business owner is at the highest tax bracket, for every dollar that person doesn't show on the tax returns, all right, there's maybe, say, 35 cents, maybe 40 cents maximum, usually 35 cents of savings. Conversely, for every dollar that individual shows on the tax return, the multiples are somewhere between 2 to 3 times. That individual can gain $2 to $3 for every dollar that shows. So would you rather settle for 35 cents or $3
Right.
when you're ready to sell your business? Um, you gotta pay the piper sometime.
That's true.
Yeah. It's been wonderful. I hope that we have actually provided value to you, provided hope, and got you thinking about some strategic steps about your business and your life, in case you're one of the unfortunate ones who lost a job. Please do not hesitate to contact NIPOC. There are a great number of resources available in NIPOC to help you, and we would love to do that. At least on my part, for the closing, I would like to say the following quote, and I heard that from one of my dear friends. And he said, when this COVID pandemic is over, you want to be running. You don't want to be looking for your shoes. So be prepared. Be prepared for when the gates are open.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Matt. It was wonderful, and it showed the potential that everybody can have from now on during this time. And I wanted to thank listeners also for joining in. And if you are a business owner or somebody that offers a service, you can actually be a guest to our podcast. You can go on NIPOC website and sign up for the podcast, and we will invite you and we can talk about the services you can offer. And with that, I want to thank you again and have a great day.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.